In 1943, the following directive was issued from party headquarters to all communists in the United States. It read, "When certain obstructionists become too irritating, label them after suitable build-ups as fascist or Nazi or anti-Semitic, and use the prestige of anti-fascist and tolerance organizations to discredit them. In the public mind, constantly associate those who oppose us with those names which already have a bad smell. The association will, after enough repetition, become fact in the public mind."
What we've got here is failure to communicate. Some men you just can't reach. So you get what we had here last week, which is the way he wants it. Well, he gets it.
In my line of work, you got to keep repeating things over and over and over again for the truth to sink in, to kind of catapult the propaganda.
Tom Cruise is reportedly making plans to shoot a movie in space. Deadline says that Cruise has teamed up with Elon Musk's SpaceX and NASA. According to the report, it's in the early stages and has yet to be backed by a specific studio. Jeff Petroulis for CBS, L.A.
The current commander of the International Space Station about to break a big record tonight. Here's ABC's Gio Benitez.
They call it the Peggy factor, Mission Control's code word for the way superstar astronaut Peggy Whitson always gets the job done.
I love it up here.
Tonight, Commander Whitson making history with her record for any American. By the time she lands in September, her tally will be 666 days.
666 days in space.
The greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world he didn't exist.
The sun is coming through the window now. Oh Lord, what a heavenly light.
You are looking at a live view of the Falcon Heavy. Yes, the Falcon Heavy.
We're very excited. I'm sure you can hear it. To my right, we have a live view of Falcon Heavy on the pad at Kennedy Space Center. Falcon Heavy is essentially 3 Falcon 9 rockets all strapped together, which means it can carry much larger payloads not only to Earth orbit, but to the Moon and Mars as well. So like Falcon 9, Falcon Heavy is a 2-stage launch vehicle. The big difference is that the first stage in Falcon Heavy is comprised of 3 cores, while Falcon 9 has only 1. Now, each one of these 3 cores has 9 M1D engines, making for a total of 27 engines overall. Altogether, those engines produce 5 million pounds of thrust, which is equal to 18 747s at takeoff. In fact, the engines are producing so much power that we don't run them at full thrust all at once.
Which is equal to 18 747s at takeoff. In fact, the engines are producing so much power that we don't run them at full thrust all at once.
What was going through your mind? How amazed were you to see your roadster up there with Starman just cruising along with the Blue Planet? And how long will we be getting live views, do you think, from the car?
Well, I think it looks so ridiculous and impossible. And you can tell it's real because it looks so fake, honestly.
becoming 100% crystal clear that you and the other space programs that are in operation are connected and are deceiving the entire world. More and more people are waking up every single day, and we are now able to see right through you.
Yeah. Tractor beam. Sucked me right in.
I was going to say thank you very much. I mean, that's, as a science journalist, my question is, through your career and your writing and your acting, you've inspired so many people to enter the sciences. How do you balance science with science fiction? They're both the same.
Yes, indeed. They've got the flag up now. And you can
The United States has shunned the Paris Climate Agreement, but it has big plans beyond planet Earth.
Beautiful, just beautiful.
President Trump wants to send American astronauts back to the moon and to places no man has ever gone before. Trump's first space policy directive orders NASA to refocus on human exploration and discovery, 45 years after its last Apollo mission to the moon. Trump said the initiative would create many jobs, and he hoped to see a lunar mission serve as a stepping stone to Mars.
We will not only plant our flag and leave our footprint, we will establish a foundation for an eventual mission to Mars and perhaps someday to many worlds beyond.
Little detail was given of the plans, but many on social media were quick to deride it, with some quipping that if America is going to lead in space, then why not send Trump there first?
So you spin, when you spin pizza dough, it kind of flattens out. Yeah. It gets wider in the middle. And so Earth, throughout its life, even when it formed, it was spinning. And it got a little wider at the equator than it does at the poles. So it's not actually a sphere. It's oblate. And officially it's an oblate spheroid. That's what we call it. But not only that, it's slightly wider below the equator than above the equator.
A little chubbier.
A little chubbier.
Yeah.
Chubby's a good way. It's like pear-shaped.
Humans, for the most part, don't have a clue. They don't want one or need one either. They're happy. They think they have a good bead on things.
Well, why the big secret? People are smart. They can handle it.
A person is smart. People are dumb, panicky, dangerous animals, and you know it. 1,500 years ago, everybody knew the Earth was the center of the universe. 500 years ago, everybody knew the Earth was flat.
2 cell phones, after all. What? Right before your surgery, I asked if you had packed your cell phone, and you said, which one?
When? Skylar, I was medicated. I mean, I could have said the world was flat.
You know what I think? I think you accidentally told the truth.
The pitcher, steroid Santa Claus, kicks and deals. It's a long fly ball going back, and the ball shatters the sky, bringing the ocean itself down into the stadium. Oh, Simpson just broke this dream's reality wide open.
You're the one who said you walked on the moon when you didn't. Calling the kettle black, if I ever thought of it. Saying I misrepresented myself. Away from me. You're a coward and a liar and a thief.
No more broken hearts. We're better off apart. Let's give it a try. Tell me, tell me, tell me lies. Tell me lies, tell me sweet little lies. Tell me lies, tell me lies. Oh no, no, you can't disguise. You can't disguise. No, you can't disguise. Tell me lies, tell me sweet little lies.
The Obama administration's vision for NASA has touched off such a heated debate because of what they have planned for the agency.
And liftoff of Discovery.
This is a watershed moment for NASA. It's an abrupt departure, a dramatic departure from the way they've done things in the past.
Gone is the Bush administration plan to send astronauts back to the moon by 2020. A $110 billion project called Constellation that the government has already sunk $9 billion into.
Liftoff.
Gone, too, is the space shuttle, which the Bush administration had ordered into retirement by the end of this year.
Nobody has a monopoly on what is a very hard problem. But I don't have much patience for anyone who denies that this challenge is real. We don't have time for a meeting of the Flat Earth Society.
If I say that the world is round and someone else says it's flat, that's worth reporting. But you might also want to report on a bunch of scientific evidence that seems to support the notion that the world is round.
Atlantis on its way.
For the next 5 years at least, NASA will be out of the business of launching astronauts into space.
U.S. astronauts are going to be forced to hitch rides on Russian Soyuz rockets to and from the International Space Station at more than $50 million a seat.
Good afternoon, everybody.
The administration is promising to build a new rocket for deep space exploration. And while a manned mission to Mars is still a goal, there is no timetable. Former astronauts, including Gene Cernan and Jim Lovell, are slamming the plan. In an open letter to President Obama, they urged him to drop this misguided proposal.
Transitions are always difficult.
But one administration advocate, Apollo 11's Buzz Aldrin, now pitted against his peers. He says Americans have already been to the moon.
Why has nobody been to the moon in such a long time?
That's not an 8-year-old's question. That's my question. I want to know, but I think I know. Because we didn't go there, and that's the way it happened. And if it didn't happen, it's nice to know why it didn't happen, so in the future, if we want to keep doing something, we need to know why something stopped in the past that we wanted to keep it going. Money is a good thing.
And the focus needs to shift.
People with patience, with an open mind and the willingness to listen would understand that this is a doable, exciting program.
The Obama administration says revamping the country's goals in space will create 2,500 new jobs, but not enough to match the 7,000 that will be lost when the space shuttle stops flying.
What if I told you that we have now spent $46 billion of your taxes on a project to study deep space? Okay, you would either say, hey, that's great, Sanchez. I want to know more about deep space. Or you might say, I could give a hoot about deep space. All right, keep the money here where we need it for our kids, our schools, and our roads. What you definitely should say is, okay, what do we get for that $46 billion? Good question. Because that's the question we asked ourselves here when we were having our editorial meeting this morning, and Michelle Greenstein's been assigned the distinction of finding out for us. Okay, what'd you find out?
All right, so here's the situation. For the past 15 years, NASA has been working on building this heavy lift vehicle that will take us to the moon and then on to Mars, and also on building the infrastructure between the Earth, the moon and Mars. Now, this is a beautiful, beautiful goal, right?
Sure.
It truly is. But according to aerospace analyst Laura Forzik, who just put out a research paper that includes data from fiscal year 2019's budget, we've been spending about $4 billion annually on this program, and we're not really seeing the return. So I reached out to her. Let's see what she had to say about this.
Cool.
The main purpose of the big NASA heavy lift vehicle program for the human space exploration is to give us, as a country, a big goal to go towards.
So her take is that the real purpose of these programs, these space exploration programs, are symbolic, right? They give us a sense of national pride. They unite the country, like she said, like around this big giant goal. So we've spent, according to her research, $14 billion on the Space Launch System, $16 billion on the Orion capsule, which is what NASA says will take us to the moon, and then on to Mars. What do we have to show for it? Well, the Orion capsule did launch a few years ago, but without a crew, and this was a private launch, and the Space Launch System has yet to take flight. So in terms of crewed flights, we're probably not going to see this for a number of years in the future, and by that time, you know, we'll have spent, well, firstly, we'll have spent 20 years on this program, but also close to $60 billion on this project that we seem to have already done in 1968. So I asked Laura Forzik about this. Let's see what she had to say.
You can't really say that what NASA is trying to do now is already done in the 60s, because the technology is different and the mission behind it, although similar, is different. So the Saturn V rocket was fantastic for its time, but it was limited. There's just an argument as to how much money should be spent on one way versus the other, or on one project versus the other.
The moon in a nanosecond. The problem is we don't have the technology to do that anymore. We used to, but we destroyed that technology, and it's a painful process to build it back again. The only limit to human future is in our own imagination.
It seems like what she's suggesting is that NASA and these grandiose projects are being used for political posturing, right? Let me stand in front of the American people and say, oh, I'm going to get us, you know, a la JFK, to the moon, or I'm going to do this and that. But in the end, it doesn't accomplish anything.
Right, and every president kind of makes an announcement like that. And she would actually agree with you. She was quoted in Ars Technica yesterday saying that these are political projects, not practical ones.
That's an interesting point. Hey, good stuff. Good reporting.
Thank you.
You serious?
If I could turn the page and time that I'd rearrange just a day or two, close my eyes. I couldn't find a way, so I settled for one day to believe in you. Tell me lies. Tell me lies, tell me sweet little lies. Tell me lies. Oh no, you can't disguise. No, you can't disguise. Tell me lies, tell me sweet little lies. Tell me lies. Oh no, you can't disguise. No, you can't disguise. Tell me lies, tell me sweet little lies.
We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other thing, not because they are easy, but because they are hard. Because that challenge is one that we're willing to accept, one we are unwilling to postpone, and one we intend to win.
Drink the astronauts took to the moon.
Astronauts to the moon.
No,
money is a good thing.
Money, 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 money. Money, 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 money.
Today we're taking a crucial step to secure America's future in space by reviving the National Space Council after it has been dormant almost 25 years, if you can believe it. Today's announcement sends a clear signal to the world that we are restoring America's proud legacy of leadership in space. Our Vice President cares very deeply about space policy, and for good reason. Space exploration is not only essential to our character as a nation, but also our economy and our great nation's security. The human soul yearns for discovery. By unlocking the mysteries of the universe, we unlock truths within ourselves. That's true. Our journey into space will not only make us stronger and more prosperous, but will unite us behind grand ambitions and bring us all closer together. Wouldn't that be nice? But will unite us behind grand ambitions and bring us all closer together. Wouldn't that be nice? Every launch into the skies is another step forward toward a future where our differences seem small against the vast expanse of our common humanity. Sometimes you have to view things from a distance in order to see the real truth. It is America's destiny to be at the forefront of humanity's eternal quest for knowledge. It is America's destiny to be at the forefront of humanity's eternal quest for knowledge.
And so in the end times, it makes sense that the same trick will be played on us, that we will be seeking knowledge and wisdom.
A lot of them out there, right? Infinity and beyond is infinity. It could be infinity. We really don't know how it could be. There's got to be something, but it could be infinity, right?
Geez, I should have packed a lunch.